More of Astral Chain to be made today. I think I keep saying the same intro for the past 3 episodes, but more of this Astral Chain for us to do. At this point, I'm technically going blind into these files, which is great for me, especially since more of the live commentary can happen and some of the funnier stuff can happen, but not much on that front. I actually have remembered to change my color from the blood medic set to the black mechanic set, and went back to my abilities because yes, even during this I'm still trying to get the achievements for some of the other things. I think the only thing I changed was my sword legion to power charge, and that's it. Kept chain drive because it's funny, also because I was almost close to finishing it, so just kept it for now. First things first is that we're going to the highway, and the highway is actually pretty interesting for a boss area. Not that bad on the front. You can like lose your runs to the second fight, if not the third fight. So do be mindful of who you're targeting. But the fight doesn't start until you walk more forward into the arena. And more in the sense that this is during the fight with Jenna before she becomes Apotheosis. So this is a fun little area to be in. I will say this though, each of these recordings were actually my first attempt. So everything from these 3 cases were my first attempt, which does not tell me that I'm blind. It just tells me that I got really lucky with what I was doing. But coming up into this fight here, we get to fight Agamemnon, and then later in the fight, you get to fight a Hecate. And after that, there's 2 more rounds, one with a Cerberus, and when Cerberus gets down to half health, you see a Enceladus. And then the last one, you're fighting against Tartarus, and once 50% of his HP is gone, you fight a Lampus. The first fight is not that bad. Agamemnon is your bigger priority because it does decent damage to you, so do be mindful. The Hecate is not going to do anything annoying to you. The only thing it can do is its 360, which causes some stun around you. Arrow shot can make it harder for you to do what you're doing. Just having like one thing of like Super Armor Alpha is good. Also hitting it with a slow shot may cancel its moves as well, but nothing else to say on that front. Hecate's not the biggest worry of it. It would be Agamemnon. If you do focus on the Hecate and all that, and you do get it down to half health, do be careful that if it's near the Agamemnon, when it drops the slime, you're gonna be a little foolbarred if you don't have anti-slime, so do be mindful of that and you'll be fine. When I was looking at this thing for the guide always recommended one enemy first and then the next one. And what I mean by that is that the guide recommends that you focus on Agamemnon first and then the Hecate, which I would agree. The Hecate is like literally the least of your worries because of its arrow shot is not doing that much. It doesn't do like a powerful shot like Lampus or a laser like Lampus, so you could just avoid it for now and just focus on the Agamemnon. The next fight would be against Cerberus, and then have HP down, you get to fight Enceladus. The guide recommended you when the Enceladus shows up, you target Enceladus, which I can totally agree on. Its lasers are annoying. Its finger shot is going to be one of the worst parts about it. And one of its attacks that has its hands near you also sucks because it does a pretty big energy wave. But what I did is that I just stayed on Cerberus because of the reason of just Howl. Howl sucks, so I just stayed near it, keep trying to attack it, and just kept going on it. I think I got howled a couple times against Cerberus because my camera focused on the Enceladus for its hand attack. So Cerberus got a couple pot shots of Howl on me, and I was just forced to just take him out. After that, Enceladus just goes down pretty simple. Yeah, he goes on pretty simple because though it is a rank C9 enemy, it's still one of like the first enemies you fight like during case 2, especially with a power charge. So you could just do pretty massive damage, and the bomb that the X Legion leaves doesn't do that much, but will do an immense amount. So that's why they recommended to take out Enceladus, because Enceladus will just have his HP bar melt to near non-existence. The last fight's where it gets interesting. Tartarus and Lampus. Tartarus is not that bad, but Tartarus is one of the few, I think, enemies that isn't a beast that has a howl ability. And during this like fight, the guide would recommend to go for Tartarus. Once you knock down Tartarus to 50%, it recommended that you should keep your eye on Tartarus and not to focus on Lampus, but to do keep the camera on Lampus, because if you guys remember one of the other, or like the case where there were just a bunch of shield enemies, Lampus does have a very powerful shot and a laser that can most likely one-shot you. So do be mindful. My best bet is literally, if you see Lampus trying to go for its laser attack, just hop on your Beast Legion and you'll be fine. You'll be able to avoid all of the damage it can do. Once you get to like back to Tartarus, you need to just take him out. His slam attack is kind of annoying, and stated before, his howl, it really is annoying because it's one of the few enemies that has a howl. Let myself say on this fight, it's a pretty good fight, and if you're not being careful, you can die during this last part, because if you focus the Tartarus only and never look or pay attention to what the Lampus is doing, it will snipe you from out of sight and cause you to lose a lot of your HP. But he's the last fight we gotta do, so let's just get through it. What am I supposed to say? After this we get all the way up to 17, and then that gives me more of a reason to sit down, complete the rest of round 3s for like a week's worth of videos, and can keep the W case for its own video, because I know I'm gonna take a while on that. Especially if I gotta play more passively. And the final case of post-game. But I do love the song for the Jenna fight before Apotheosis. It's so good. Nothing much else to say on this front, but I think this is actually being like recorded for the voiceover. Persona 3 Reload comes out tomorrow. I am very excited for that game, but I don't think I have a strong enough PC for Persona 3 Reload. It is funny, but I don't think I have a strong enough PC for Persona 3 Reload. So I'm probably not going to be able to play it until I get a better one. Which is sad, because I really do want to play through Persona 3. Nothing much else on that. Also, one thing to say is that, just like last time where I forgot to switch my color for the Blood Medic suit, I am going to keep the Mechanic suit for 4 episodes. Because unintentionally leaving the red color made it possible so that I can actually just have the pure like blue color, like our normal attire, for the final episode. So I just kept that accident in and just kept going with it. Also, the achievement list at 174 out of 185 is astonishing. I'm just missing some of the other moves like Sync Master and Triple Sword. Those are the ones I'm missing, and like 3 more fusions. And then I'm technically done with everything of the Legion abilities. The only hard one would be Sync Keep, because basically you put up a buff for yourself and then you put Sync Keep, so when you disengage the Legion, it still stays with you. So any buffs that happen, I just use it immediately. But the next one is on Arc Mall. And Arc Mall is not that bad. I thought it was going to be more terrible with its enemy placements, but Arc Mall was not that bad in my opinion. It was a very short one, but I do know that I got very low on HP multiple times during that fight. But, yep. This Arc Mall fight is technically pretty short, one of the shortest ones we're doing right now, because it's only one fight. We fight Jenna, Homunculus Alpha, 1 Gladius Proto Legion, and 4 tentacles. You do not have to beat all the tentacles before like defeating the Homunculus and Jenna. You just have to beat Homunculus, beat the Gladius, and beat Jenna, and you'll be fine. The tentacles are here just to mess with you, to slow you down, and to keep you stuck so you can get comboed by both the Homunculus and Jenna. So do be mindful of that. Other than that, nothing much else to say on this fight. Your best course of action would be just to be careful when you try to attack Jenna. I would love to say prioritize the Homunculus first because it does the most damage. Its spikes will knock you out, and he will do heavy damage if you're not being careful. But it's like with the Lampus situation. Take out Jenna first because Jenna does have the annoying abilities for Paralyze and for Freezing. And if you want to fight Homunculus Alpha decently good, just try to remind yourself about that. So get rid of Jenna first, and have the Homunculus Alpha be the final one for you. The Gladius Proto Legion during the fight, if it gets hit with enough pot shots from your like Axe Legion or from the bombs of the Axe Legion, you'll be fine. It'll just be KO'd when you're doing something else, which was what happened to me, which is very funny. So yeah. Other than that, these tentacles here, there's 2 normal ones and then 2 poison tentacles, so do be mindful. And they only show up if you're near them, so if you're walking around the arena, you'll be fine. And you won't be affected by them, but if you know where one tentacle is and you just immediately take it out, you're gonna be very fine. It's just not gonna affect you as much as it should. But, you know, this Homunculus Alpha fight, it's just like the normal one. Nothing more is added and all that. And since we're pretty stronger than we were before, and especially with a power charge, and if you do use some of the grenades, you can just finish this fight pretty easily. But yeah, no. Simple fight. Really, really short. And 2 already down, and we're already like 13 minutes into the video. This one, like, I expected this to be almost 30 minutes long, because round 3s are pretty long and all that. But no, this one was 24-ish minutes, which I was surprised that I got to 24 minutes. Especially since this was like one of the ones I recorded before going to work, because I had free time. I wasn't editing that much if I needed to grab some videos, so I just said screw it. Opened up my OBS and Astral Chain to record more of these. I thought I was gonna get like two cases in, at least 1 case recorded, and then I could do the rest when I get back home. But no,
job well done.
Got all 3 done in the morning, edited it down on the same day, and I'm doing the voiceover the next day, which is technically today. But yeah, no. Harmony Square is our last one for today, and honestly, I didn't expect myself to go back to this area because I think this specific one is a file 12 only case, or like a file 12 only location. This location here is basically the fight against Jenna and the Homunculus Gamma during boss 3 of round 2, which is kind of funny. The first fight here is against a Cryas and 2 Laiuses, and then after that, it's an Arche and an Ice Maiden. Nothing too bad on this front. Like in the first fight, just focus on the Cryas, because the Cryas is more annoying and has a lot of speed to be an arm enemy. The Laiuses are only there to cause just a damage with their shields if you're using the normal baton. But if you're using your Gladius and the Axe Legion, when they try to proc up their shield, you'll just instantly break them and they'll be stunned. Drop my glasses. After that would be the Arche and the Ice Maiden. The only problem with these two would be Arche, because of its attack to instantly like freeze anyone when it's spinning its arms. So your best bet would be focus on the Arche and you'll be fine. The Ice Maiden will also try to freeze you with its lasers, which is usually a given. If not, it will try to hit you with a pot shot with its icicles. And once it gets to its little shell that pops out, you're pretty good to just knock it out with whatever you're doing with the Axe Legion, and it'll be stunned where you can do more damage on it. Not much else on that front. It's a pretty simple like 1-2 combo. But for the first one, you don't need any elemental resistances. Second one, if you really are having trouble with the Arche and the Ice Maiden, anti-freeze would be great for that. And this is what, like, when I first did this, kind of confused me, is that we still go down the highway, and we're fighting a Kronos and an Ares, and then after that a Typhon and a Companius. And when I was doing this recording, I didn't expect myself to go down this road, because this is like one of the few areas that I don't think it's used in all of like Harmony Square, because this is like a area far off from it. I do see a ladder and all that, and I do see like where I think the dumpster would be and all that towards like the dumpster towards one of the astral planes, and I think the what was it, the I was gonna say search quest, but the follow quest of following what people were doing during the I think it was case 6 when we were helping out Carlos. But yeah, no, it's just like one of the few areas that doesn't get used because you're on the street, not on the sidewalk. It's kind of cool that they use this multiple times and all that, especially since we get to move around. Kronos is not that bad. You just have to knock him out with the Axe Legion to take out a shield and all that. You'll be fine. The Ares is more of your problem because of its lasers and all that. But after that will be the double paralyzed enemies, Typhon and Companius, which is great. So basically, if you have a Legion with anti-paralyze and anti-stun, you'll be fine. Just do be mindful that Typhon will still do tremendous damage because it is an Arn-type Chimera, so it's going to be more of a problem to deal with him, but stun is going to be the least of your issues if you have anti-paralyze and anti-stun. Knockback is still going to be a damage though. But after that, after like this fight, we'll get to the last round, and Jesus Christ, that last round is something. And I can see people doing this for the first time losing their attempts in the final round. But just one more hit, and this round 2 is over. Last round, or last like group of fights in this area, is pretty simple, but kind of annoying. So we go all the way up forward towards this area, and we get to fight literally 5 Laiuses, and then after that we get to fight an Ares and 4 Laiuses, and then after that 6 enemies combined with Ares and 4 Laiuses if you never beat them. 6 enemies with 4 Laiuses if you just don't beat them, which would be 10 enemies, and then we're fighting Ares as well, which if you remember Ares, halfway through the fight, it will split up into its multiple, like different sizes of itself, meaning we got up by a lot of enemies. One of the more enemy packed cases. And I can see people losing to this round of the case, because Ares is very hard hitting, and if you never get rid of the 4 Liuses, you'll be stuck with 4 Liuses trying to hit you against an Ares. And what the guide recommends, and I wholeheartedly agree with, is that once you see the cutscene, or once your camera moves more intuitively, to show that you have to, or that the new enemies have showed up, still prioritize the Ares. Normally when you see reinforcements show up, take out the reinforcements and then you can go back to the big bad, or take out the littler ones and then just try to focus on the main guy later, because getting pot shot, it sucks. But in this one, take out the Ares first when the smaller ones show up, for 2 reasons. One, Ares will go back and will grow back to its normal size if you haven't taken out the small fries immediately. So like its diversions, if you never beat them, he'll go back to his normal size, and it'll be harder to knock them down, especially with a bunch of shell enemies in the way, even with an Ice Maiden. And 2, once you get him down to a very low HP and he's still in his small form, you're gonna lose him more often because of the shell enemies. The shell enemies are gonna like kind of disguise them because they're pretty small, but also like the Ice Maiden is there to stall you because of its freeze. And if you get frozen, Ares has like mostly like a guaranteed way to do damage on you. Yeah, like a guaranteed way to do damage on you, and clearly do almost all your HP, like a good chunk, 2/3 of it. And I can see a lot of people losing this case due to the final round, either because they didn't knock out Ares fast enough when the shells came, or they tried to prioritize the shell enemies before defeating Ares. But a very simple case to do, and I did leave my thoughts in for what happened during the file. Also, do be mindful that I had some video in the background, so if you hear some background noise, that is probably why. A lot of close calls on that one. I didn't expect the Ice Maiden to knock me down in pretty low health. It was pretty close. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Pretty simple 3 cases, and I didn't expect them to be done in 1 attempt. I thought it was gonna be actually taking a while in the boss area, because it is literally like the very hard enemies, and there's 2 of them, and like there's usually gonna be 2 of them during the fight. So I thought it was gonna be the longest one, but that's enough from me. Next time we're gonna be doing 3 more. I also went to the orders to show that we are at 63 out of 71 cases done for this game, or for post game. So we are literally to the end. Talk to y'all then. To the computer.